Thank you very much, Tonika, and it's a pleasure to be here. I think, in fact, what I want to talk about is probably going to fit in quite well with the overall discussion if Rizia was saying that it's been looking at the other. And I think one of the things that is quite striking about the Indian economy, perhaps much more than many other economies, is how much otherness there is. In other words, how many distinctions there are within the economy across people. I'm going to close this if you don't mind. Across categories. Do you need this? Oops. Okay. Across categories, across people, across locations. In other words, it's not diversity so much as it is some form of segregation and of disparity, which is a very, very dominant feature of India and of the Indian economy. And of course, right now, as we speak, we are in a particular phase of which many have called the sort of ending of the growth story, right? There are all these alarmist things that come out in many of the magazines and journals about how we were on this wonderful trajectory and now it's all exploding, or it's dissipating and the good news is over and we are no longer going to be on this wonderful trajectory. I want to put a slightly different angle onto all this, and particularly I want to ask a question which puzzles a lot of people actually when you think about it, which is that here is this economy which for 25, nearly 30 years really, has been growing at a reasonably fast clip. And at least for 20 years, it's been seen as one of the fastest growing economies in the world, one of these miracles in Asia, which has withstood various kinds of global crises, and to the point where people were looking at China and India as the large success stories of globalization. That okay, the rest of the world economy, where all kinds of other things have happened, there's been more inequality, more instability, more fragility, they've had crises and so on, but China and India have been growing in a relatively stable fashion at very, very rapid rates of growth, much faster than most other regions for now 2 decades. Okay, so here is this macro picture of this vibrant growing economy, and yet, as all of us know who live here, there's a lot that doesn't seem to quite fit in with that picture. So those of us who live here, we're constantly startled by the fact that unemployment persists, or that the employment that persists is incredibly vulnerable, fragile, and poor, that the nutrition indicators remain as horrible as they have been always and are down there with sub-Saharan Africa, that the health indicators are also abysmal, appalling, and not growing at a rapid rate, that the education indicators are also still really poor for a country, even at this level of per capita income. So many people have always found this, not always, have been increasingly finding this to be something hard to explain. What is it that allows this strange kind of dichotomy between this rapid growth, this picture of sustained expansion, and the fact that it doesn't seem to be feeding into all the things that you expect with rapid growth? More employment, better quality employment, more health, better nutrition, and so on and so forth. What's going wrong? Is it the case that we have this growth and there's a bunch of people excluded from it, and therefore it's not working out the way it should? Or is it the case that it's the nature of the growth itself? And I'm really going to basically argue the second. So what is often said is that, okay, fine, we have this growth process, but it's not been fast enough or extensive enough or widespread enough for us to reach everybody. And so that's the problem. All we have to do is just keep growing more and more in the same way, and eventually we will reach everybody. But we began with such a large poor population that we couldn't manage to reach everybody in time. That's one classic argument, and this is an argument which you will find very often, especially in official circles, right? The government policymakers say this a lot, that just give us more time to do this rapid growth and we can deliver. I'm going to argue the opposite. I'm going to argue that in fact it is because of this particular strategy of growth that we haven't got the other stuff.